All right, thank you for joining us for this week's Messiah Minutes. A few reminders before we get started here. We have youth tomorrow night at 6. I ask you to come out and help us. Volunteer for that. Come hang out with the youth. We've been having some great moments in there, some great messages, some great food. So please sign up if you can bring food for that. That would be great. Tomorrow night we also have our adult midweek service at 6:30. So we ask that you come, show up for that. Remember, we are doing a school supplies drive here at the church, and those school supplies need to be turned in by August 3rd. So we ask that you can bring those in. Whatever it is, I'm sure we can use it. So please bring them in for the kids by August 3rd. And then this Sunday coming up, we have Steve Kaufman is preaching. He's going to bring the message for us Sunday morning. So we hope to see you then. It'd be great to come out. I'm sure Steve is going to have a wonderful message for us. So we'd love to see you. Let's dive right back into what we've been talking about. We've been in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 3 through 5. For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. So last week we talked a little bit about how we're either conforming to the world around us or we're being transformed by the renewing of our minds, and there's no other option. We can be transformed by the renewing of our minds, but it's not something that automatically happens to us or accidentally happens to us. It takes intentionality and it takes effort from us for that to happen. And we talked a little bit about how it's a battle. What's going on in our mind is a battle because we have to battle against our flesh. We battle against our old sinful habits. We battle against the world we live in, the enemy that's constantly trying to tear us down and who rules over the world, and the molds that the world is trying to squeeze us into. Those are all battles. And if we don't choose transformation, we don't just get to sit neutral. It's not a, hey, I didn't do it, so I'm fine where I'm at. If you're not choosing transformation, then you're left to the molding of the world that never stops. It's always persistent in molding you. So if you're not choosing transformation daily with your thoughts, then you're actually being dragged the opposite direction of who you want to become and who God created you to be. So again, I asked you last week, if you want to be transformed, then we have to renew our minds. The only way to do that is by learning how to take every thought captive. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit about today. Today, I want you to, let's do some imagination today. I want you to imagine a guy named Alex. And this guy, Alex, maybe he's been, persuaded or influenced by conspiracy theories or some misunderstanding of scientific, concepts and facts. Alex begins to doubt the existence of gravity. Maybe he's read flat earth theories and these alternative explanations of why objects fall. But Alex proposes that objects fall because of density differences in the earth, because the earth is this flat disk with a wall of ice around it, and it has the edge that prevents objects from falling off. So gravity is not real. So Alex's friends and family, they might try to explain the science of gravity to him, but Alex remains unconvinced. He believes that gravity is a hoax. It's a hoax that's been spread by the scientific community. The more he thinks about it, the more convinced he becomes. And he argues with people. He argues with his friends. He says things like, well, hey, it's all about density and buoyancy. It's not some invisible force. Some of his friends and family will try to reason with him. They'll try to say, no, Alex, you're not right. But others, in the spirit of acceptance, will tell him, hey, man, it's cool, Alex. You do you, man. You think whatever you want about gravity. The problem is, the more Alex thought about it, the more convinced he became that gravity wasn't real. So one day, Alex gets tired of all the arguing, and he decides to prove his point once and for all. He announced that he's going to go up to the roof of his 2-story house, and he's confident that when he jumps off, he's going to float instead of fall. And of course, when that moment came, everyone showed up. Everybody wanted to see that. He wanted to see him leap off the edge of the roof because everybody likes to see that sort of thing. The problem was, gravity didn't care what Alex thought. Gravity did what it always does, and it acted the way it always acts. As you could probably guess, Alex ended up with multiple fractures. Let's say, he broke lots of things, and he had a concussion, a severe concussion. He spent a lot of time in the hospital, which gave him a lot of time to rethink, about the laws of gravity and whether they're true or not. Now I want you to come back to reality. I want you to think about our thinking for a moment. I want you to understand that what you think about determines who you become. You need to understand that what you think about determines what you believe. And what you believe determines how you feel. And how you feel determines what you do. So what I believe and how I feel is determined by what I think about. So the question is, what do I think about? Because what I think about matters. What I think about matters. And what you think about matters. The truth about thinking is, it is a bit like the law of gravity, right? Every day our lives are impacted and they're shaped by what we think about, even though we can't see it. And like the law of gravity, the truth doesn't require us to believe in it for it to be true. We can tell ourselves that our thinking doesn't have a significant impact on our lives, but that's going to turn out about as well as it did for Alex in that story. And it turns out that insight about thinking isn't just from psychologists either. It comes from somewhere else. It's ancient wisdom that you're going to find in your Bible. We've been finding all these things. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 4:23, be careful how you think, because your life is shaped by your thoughts. I've been telling you, either you take your thoughts captive or they're going to take you captive. That's what I want to talk about this week. I want you to spend some time this week thinking about some of your thoughts. Maybe some of your thoughts that have held you captive for a long time. Because what do you actually believe is true? Is it something that you were taught or shown as a child? And is it true? Next week, I encourage you to join us as we talk about some of those things. And why don't we just call them what the Bible calls them? Strongholds. We're going to start diving into some of the strongholds that we've all been taught for a long time and whether they're true or not. Because the verse is pretty clear. If we want to demolish the strongholds, we have to identify what they are first. And we get to demolish them through Jesus Christ. So I hope you join us next week because we're going to talk about demolishing strongholds. We're going to talk and stay on strongholds for a little bit because I think we all have them. And we get to decide whether we demolish them or we let the enemy use them. So join us next week for that. I love you. I appreciate you all. I ask you to like and share this, get it out there, and just have a great week. I hope to see you this week.